This gravesite I just visited is different. Check it out. So Mountain Tom Clark is buried in the center of Tennessee Street, right here in front of Florence Cemetery in Florence, Alabama. He's buried right here in the middle of the street somewhere. I'm going to read a story from Alabama Heritage Story on the legend of Mountain Tom Clark. In the years after the Civil War, the court systems in northwest Alabama and southern middle Tennessee struggled to maintain law and order as murderous guerrillas and bushwhackers terrorized the countryside. The most notorious gang in the area was the Clifton shebang, known to Lauderdale County residents as the Boogers. Thomas Mountain Tom Clark, 1821 to 1872, a deserter from both the Union and the Confederate armies, was one of the leaders of this gang. The first record of Tom Clark and the Clifton shebang comes from an 1865 report by Captain Lot Abraham of Company D, 4th Iowa Cavalry, USA, reporting to his superior about robberies by Union troops stationed near Florence, Alabama. Captain Abraham stated several citizens told him they believed most of the robbing had been done by men who were with Lieutenant Thrasher. Among them, he listed Tom Clark. Conscript officers called up to Clark one blistery winter day as he was building a stick chimney on his uncompleted house. Inside, his wife and newly born baby lay ill. Clark escaped from the Confederate conscript officers and went north to Clifton in Wayne County, Tennessee, to enlist in the Union Army. Lauderdale and Wayne counties had many such Union sympathizers, but Army life did not hold Clark for long, as he deserted the Union as well and soon met up with the Clifton shebang. Before he was brought to justice by a Florence mob in 1872, Clark boasted of killing many men. Among his victims were 3 people at the Wilson plantation and 3 Confederate soldiers who happened to come across Clark as he was hunting another man. According to Dr. Wade Pruitt, author of the only book about the Boogers, Tom Clark was one of 20 Boogers who conducted the raid on the Wilson plantation. They conducted a second raid into Florence in September of 1872, the criminal escapade that was to become Mountain Tom's downfall. The Lauderdale Times Extra of September 5, 1872 reported that after several houses were robbed in Florence, 2 men were spotted during a sorrel mare hitched to a buggy at 2 o'clock in the morning. At sunrise, a posse led by Florence City Marshal William Edward Blair left in pursuit of the outlaws. According to the Times, the posse called up to the gang near Gravelly Springs. The elegantly dressed outlaws, who had stopped for dinner and were in the process of unhitching their horses, were caught by surprise and put up with no resistance to Marshal Blair and his men. A search of the outlaws discovered nothing. However, upon examining the buggy, a breastpin was spied sticking out of the buggy's top lining. According to the paper, the deputies found 8 watches, a handful of breastpins, and other items. Upon opening a traveling salesman's satchel, the officers found files, saws, and other burglarious instruments. Seeing that they were both caught and outnumbered, the outlaws surrendered their arms and were promptly placed under arrest and taken back to Florence, where they were jailed. Sheriff Calvin Hudson feared that the county jail insecure deputized 8 men to stand guard with the jailer. About midnight, a great crowd arrived at the jail demanding the keys. Refusing to hand over the keys, the jailer fired into the crowd. Reportedly, fire was returned and the angry mob soon broke open the doors to the cells and disarmed the jailer. They dragged Clark and his two accomplices to a vacant lot across Pine Street behind the old Masonic Lodge and lynched the three criminals, hanged them from a large tree in the lot. The next morning, the bodies were found by a group of citizens who identified Clark. This is the intersection where the lynching took place. Thus, the notorious outlaw Tom Clark met his end. Mayor Neander H. Rice ordered the bodies buried in one of the old fields near our town. But a legend began, perhaps in the 1930s or as late as the 1960s, has it that one of the men on the burial detail remembered hearing Tom Clark boast that no one would ever run over Tom Clark. He got the idea to bury the outlaw outside the cemetery underneath East Tennessee Street so that everyone would run over Tom Clark. The burial legend is not supported by any of the newspaper reports of the time, nor is it mentioned in subsequent accounts of the lynching. Still, a historical marker in Florence tells the story of Mountain Tom's notorious career as an outlaw, his hanging, and his burial under Tennessee Street. The true location of the outlaw's final resting place is a mystery, but his legend remains to tell a tale of turbulent times in post-Civil War Alabama. I apologize for the repetitiveness of the video. I had to keep looping the video through to get the whole story out, but still hope you enjoyed it. So that's the gravesite of Mountain Tom Clark, right in the middle of Tennessee Avenue, and his compadres, not sure their names, I don't think, across the street, somewhere in that vacant lot, I think. Anyway, appreciate you watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.